a lot much compassion, compassion and merciful. So allow me to welcome you in this big tour. We started this morning, and I'm honored to be there to launch the convoy of Long Live Egypt to aid our people in Gaza, and we've talked at the sidelines of this convoy's launchings, and later on we've already headed to make a tour for different industrial manufacturers in Al-Abur and the tens of Ramadan cities. And in fact, the most important thing that I wish to address with all Egyptians, that's what we are witnessing today, and it is upon the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to pay attention and concern to the industry that will lead the Egyptian economy along with the private sector, the process of development on top of which the industry sector. And we used to always say that it's too late to start with. Today our tour is through 10 manufacturers. 90% of them are direct foreign investment, and we started with a labor investment in the sector of pharmaceutical, Saudi investment, followed by the construction materials sector, Lebanese investment, and we moved to the 10th of Ramadan city. Our investment started with the Chinese, Italian, Turkish, and will be continued in the Emirati investment and other nationalities alongside with the Egyptians. I wish to say something very important. The direct foreign investment entering the market, they are very aware where our investment in, and what you've seen today, whether they are pretty new investments, as the two manufacturers who've already examined in the 10th of Ramadan, which they are the Chinese hire and another Turkish manufacturer, and they are being granted for the golden license, and they've already started operations in October, and in less than 1 year they will be operated, producing and exporting. And they're not just choosing Egypt not to make or establish a manufacturer in Egypt, but they are making a regional hub for their productions that serve Egypt and Africa. Cannot be achieved unless there is a focus and a concentration by the cabinet. I follow on the weekly basis of the execution's position on the ground, and that's what they are saying. They are saying that without the support of the Egyptian government, we wouldn't have already escalating our efforts. Regarding hire manufacturers, they are the biggest producers in the world in the electric appliances, ranking #1, and they never thought of coming to Egypt, and unless we've already convened with them, I personally, and removing all the hinders, and they are already talking about the first phase about LCDs and washing machine and central air conditioning, which is very difficult, and I've already spoken to them by increasing the productions in order to cover fully the domestic market. We are going to do them all the incentives, not this one, but I've already directed my speech to their own manufacturers. Our goals, while we are encouraging the new emerging manufacturers to minimize the bill of the exportation, we are going to succeed and break down this the economic crisis. And I affirm or reiterate my speech to all the Egyptian economists. Our crisis is not only a question one, and whatever is being debating about the hard currencies crisis will be finished soon. But it most importantly that the lesson to be learned from the world crisis that we should own the potentials of our production as much as possible. Once again, I reaffirm it to the national industrial men because the model we've already seen, it is a direct investment that believe the state's potential, invest in millions of US dollars in a very short time. Some would say to take a pause and see how things would be happening or would be going. No, they are actually doing the investments that would live for 20 to 34 years. And they are very aware about the state's potentials. That's why they are here to invest. Most importantly is just to follow this as officials, and I do this personally, whether we are sit with a number of investors or making meetings regarding to increase investments and remove all obstacles of such a very important sector that its a percentage is only 17% of the GDP of Egypt, which is our biggest concern is industry, and how we change our equation to make our exports bigger than imports, or at least to cover our needs of the domestic market. That's why each plan to be established should minimize the pills and the export and import pills. And that would lead us to gain the power to deal with the financial and economic crisis. Therefore, I once again to send in a message, all the support for all national and foreign and industrial investors. We've already talked in the tour with the COEs of the biggest manufacturer. This plant is already located in 3 cities that contain 9,000 of Egyptian manpower. The headquarters in Turkey, but the size of production the biggest in Egypt. And most importantly, the future plan, they are talking about 20 to 30,000 workers. I'm talking about 500 US dollar exportation per year. And I'm not just mentioning this one, I'm talking about all the plans have already been through. This is the message. God willing, we have the infrastructure, so the trained, well qualified manpower, and today all the incentives and potential support. This is a very important sector. So we are going to continue our tour in other 2 plants, but I wanted to talk about the cause or the issue of the industry, and it is the only way for growth economically, and the industry sector that is taking the first priority. And in order to boost this market should enter new investment. As you've already seen, all of the investments that are directed for investment that's taking only months, not years, when we are following their aggressive plans, because it's our hope. And I thank you all, and we'll continue the talk.